Well, we're now down to the final 2 weeks of the 2018 NFL season. Oh my god, this season's going by so quickly. As it's I'm still sick. As it's now time for my week 16 picks of the 2018 NFL season. Last week, oh boy, I went back to back 9-7. Oh jeez, nothing's going right for me this year. And I mean nothing. God, I've only had 4 weeks where I've gotten 10 wins this year in a week. That is pretty damn terrible. Oh my god. What a terrible season it's been for picks so far. Maybe if I'm lucky, if I do awesome these last 2 weeks, maybe I could turn around and have a little bit some recovery. And of course, here's the playoff scenes. If the season ended today in the AFC, it's the Chiefs and Texans with the byes, with the Ravens at the Patriots, and the Chargers at the Steelers. And the NFC, it's the Saints and Rams with the byes, with the Vikings at the Bears, and the Seahawks at the Cowboys. And for my Super Bowl pick, it's still the Saints beating the Chiefs. So now let's get into my picks, starting with tomorrow's games. So we start off with our final 2 Thursday night games on Saturday, of course. First off being the Redskins at the Titans for the first time since 2010, as the Titans are trying to get a third straight win season, as the Redskins are trying to keep their playoff hopes alive, because if they lose and the Vikings win, they are officially eliminated from the playoffs for the third year in a row. As, of course, the Redskins beat the Jaguars in an offensive struggle. Oh, boy. I knew it was going to be just like that, and it was awesome. The Titans shut out the Giants, too, put the Giants in their place. That was pretty damn bad as well. Oh, boy, it's going to be a defensive struggle. Of course, not surprised. Of course, it's probably going to matter if the Titans are going to be consistent, because they're all over the place this year. They look good and look like world beaters, and next week they get their asses kicked. Now, of course, they're playing a struggling Redskins team that's gone 1-4 after Alex Smith went down. They have no offense to worry about, so if they could shut out the Giants, they should easily have no trouble taking on the Redskins, who are probably just as bad and at home this time now. So I think the Titans will get this one. And then we get to the big finals Thursday night showdown, as it's the wild card teams in the AFC battling each other. The Ravens at the Chargers for the first time since 2012, and the Ravens making their first appearance in LA in 22-year history. Never been there before. As, of course, the Ravens still trying to get their second straight win season. I don't think they can make a playoff appearance yet, even if they win, and everyone else, like the Dolphins, Colts, and Titans, all lose and such. Although I do think if the Ravens win and the Titans lose, they're probably eliminated from the playoffs since the Ravens have the tiebreaker. Meanwhile, as they just beat the Buccaneers in a defensive struggle last week, the Chargers pulled off the comeback against the Chiefs to get themselves in the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. As with this win, they will leapfrog over the Chiefs and have the #1 record in the AFC just for right now, unless the Chiefs win on Sunday night, which I'll get to later on. Oh boy, when these two play each other, especially out in San Diego, it's going to be either one or two ways. It's going to either be a blowout, which it was in 2011, or it's going to be a close game, either high scored like it was in 2009, or a defensive struggle like it was in 2012. Remember when the Ravens converted like that 4th and 20 plus yards or something like that? I think the Chargers are going to probably win this, but don't underestimate the Ravens Chargers. The Chiefs did a few weeks ago, and they barely beat them. So don't underestimate them. They're hungry for a playoff appearance, and they got a defense that could easily get them into the playoffs as long as their offense doesn't shit the bed. And then we get to Sunday action, starting off with an outer-conference showdown. The Giants at the Colts for the first time since 2010, as the Colts are trying to get their first winning season since 2014, as the Giants got eliminated from the playoffs and they got shut out by the Titans, and once again embarrassing me by picking them last week. And the Colts shut out the Cowboys, too. I thought they were going to win, but I didn't think they were going to shut them out. Holy crap. The Colts, along with the Ravens, are definitely on a roll of being like the best team to represent the wild card in the AFC East. I mean, the AFC East, the AFC playoffs. And, of course, they're still not only fighting to try and get a playoff spot, but still fighting the Texans to get the AFC South title. But, of course, if they lose, that'll go out of the way by and large. But, of course, definitely think the Colts will get this one. And watch, they'll just shit the bed and blow it against the Giants. And then it's the Jaguars at the Dolphins for the first time since 2012, I believe. As the Jaguars got beat by the Redskins in a defensive struggle. Oh, my God. That was pretty bad. Especially that you've now lost like 2 times now hosting the Redskins. Oh, God, that's pretty bad. Meanwhile, the Dolphins got their asses destroyed by the Vikings last week. Holy crap. No surprise there. And the Dolphins, if they lose or if the Patriots win, they'll be officially out of the AFC East contention. And if they lose and either the Ravens, Colts, or Titans win, they will be officially eliminated from the playoffs. So I wonder if Adam Gase is getting on the hot seat right now, since they've been all over the place and inconsistent as hell this year. But I think the Dolphins will get this one. But watch the the Jaguars somehow pull off in a defensive struggle, because the Dolphins are inconsistent. And then it's the Falcons at the Panthers, as of course the Panthers are trying to avoid their first losing season since 2016. The Falcons, of course, beat the Cardinals last week. About time they finally got a win after ending that 5-game losing streak, I think it was. And of course already eliminated from the playoffs, as they're just trying to play spoiler. And the Panthers, what the hell? Fucking Monday night, your defense did everything they could to win the game, yet your offense completely shat the bed. That was a terrible offensive performance. And of course, Cam Newton is out for the final 2 weeks with injury, which of course was obviously affecting him during that Monday night game. Now, although they're 6-8, the Panthers technically are still in the playoffs. They would have to win out. The the Redskins and Vikings would have to lose out, and the Eagles would have to lose this week and then beat or tie the Redskins in the final week of the season, and they could still get into the playoffs. But of course, it's not really going good in their favor. Along with that 6-game losing streak still going, and Cam Newton gone for the season, I think the Falcons actually will get it. And then it's the Bengals at the Browns, as the Bengals are trying to avoid a third straight losing season. Meanwhile, the Browns are trying to get to 500 and keep their playoff hopes alive. Yep, they're in the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Bengals are out. But of course, if the Browns lose, they are officially eliminated from the playoffs. And of course, if either the Ravens, Colts, or Titans win, they're officially eliminated from the playoffs then too, even if they did win. As the Bengals beat the Raiders last week in a close one. The Browns actually beat the Broncos at Denver on a defensive game. That was awesome seeing that, as they've already doubled their win total from the last 3 years combined. That's quite impressive. And of course, we all remember many weeks ago when they destroyed the Bengals when they visited Cincinnati. But of course, usually when they host the Bengals is when they struggle. Matter of fact, the Browns, I don't think have beaten the Bengals hosting them since 2013. It's been a long time since they last beaten them. But I think they could do it. I think the Browns will get this, but watch the Bengals somehow get to, because the Browns are inconsistent as hell. Then it's the Buccaneers at the Cowboys for the first time since 2016, as the Cowboys are trying to get their third straight win season. And for the Cowboys, if they win and the Redskins lose, they will officially clinch the playoff spot in the NFC East for the second year, first time since 2016. Also, I think if they win, it doesn't matter, because they have the head-to-head sweep on the Eagles, and they have a better division record over the Redskins, which they cannot recover from. So if they win here, they should just win the playoffs in the NFC East already. As the Buccaneers are trying to play spoiler, they lost a defensive struggle against the Ravens last week, and of course the Cowboys. I knew you were going to lose to the Colts, but getting shut out? Oh, God, that is terrible. I guess maybe the Cowboys are going to once again choke like they always do, especially in December, historically. But I think the Cowboys would get this one. But definitely don't underestimate the Buccaneers, as it's one of the league's elite defenses going up against a pretty good Buccaneers offense that can put up some yards and some points. So don't underestimate the Buccaneers. They can play hard when they need to and continue to play spoiler. And then it's the Vikings at the Lions, as the Lions being the Vikings. For them, if they win and the Redskins and Eagles lose, they will officially clinch a playoff berth for the second year in a row. And for the first time since 1999-2000, I believe, when they made the playoffs 2 years in a row. So all they need to do is win and hope the Eagles and Redskins lose, and they will clinch a playoff spot. That's what they're trying to get, as they destroyed the Dolphins last week in an offensive blowout. My God, finally they put like 40 points on the board. Meanwhile, the Lions, of course, blew it against the Bills. Oh my God, I had a bad feeling you were going to do it, and you went and did it again. Oh God. This could be really close, since the Lions are all over the place, especially when they're hosting, and the Vikings are inconsistent as hell. But I think the Vikings will get this. I trust them a lot more than the Lions right now, especially since they played hard and well against them the last, 2 years now. But, of course, you never can underestimate the Lions either, Vikings. Don't do it. And then it's the Bills at the Patriots. And for the Patriots, as this is their first season since 2009, where they're not going to get over 12 wins, all they have to do is win or the Dolphins lose, and they will clinch a playoff spot and the AFC East for the 10th year in a row. And if they win and the Texans lose, they're right back into the number 2 seed. So they're trying to get that first round bye, as they lost to the Steelers in a defensive struggle. Holy crap! I did pick the Steelers are going to win, but holy shit, the Steelers defense really played up to par like they did last year when they played the Patriots, and they didn't choke like they did the year before. Meanwhile, the Bills exceeding expectations, even though they're overachieving as they beat the Lions. Hey, they won 5 games this year when I thought they were going to be lucky enough to win 2. Oh boy. But of course, as we all know, visit the Patriots, although they actually are 2-3, I believe, when they last 5 years they visit the Patriots. But of course, remember, one was when they were resting the stars the final week of the season. The other one was without Brady. That was the final game before Brady's suspension was taken down. So, I mean, that's not really that much to say. They're up success up there. And I think the Patriots will easily get this and win the AFC East. And then it's the Packers at the Jets for the first time since 2010. As the Packers eliminated for the playoffs for only the first time since 2005, 2006 when they missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. And the first time since 1990, 1991 when they had back-to-back losing seasons as they lost it to the Bears in a defensive struggle. Meanwhile, the Jets almost pull off the victory against the Texans. They played really well against them, too. Oh, man, so close, but they just couldn't get it. And, of course, oh, boy, I think the Packers will get this one, but don't underestimate the Jets, Packers, especially since you're terrible this year, too, so they could easily put the win on you, so don't underestimate them. And then we get to a big outer conference showdown, as it's the Texans at the Eagles for the first time since 2010. For the Texans, if they win or the Colts and Titans lose, they will clinch a playoff spot and the AFC South for the first time since 2016. And if they win and the Patriots lose, they will clinch first round bye for the first time in their 16-year history. So that is huge for them. They have to win this one and not blow this opportunity, as they need to win out to possibly get first round bye and maybe home field advantage possibly too. That's still up in the air. As the Texans barely beat the Jets too. That's actually kind of worrisome how they barely beat a 4-10 Jets squad that's struggling. Meanwhile, the Eagles, holy crap, they took advantage of the Rams' implosion in the third quarter last Sunday night, and they beat them as they're still trying to get to the playoffs. But, of course, if they lose and the Vikings win, they will be officially eliminated from the playoffs. And, of course, the wild card race. And, of course, if the Cowboys win, they are officially out in contention to win the NFC East. This game is going to be close. I had a hard time picking between them because the Texans always struggle when they visit the Eagles, and the Eagles are still fighting there and still put up some effort to stay any shot at making it in the playoffs. But even though it's going against my better judgment, I'm probably picking the Texans for this one. All right, now we get to the 4 p.m. games, starting off with the Rams at the Cardinals. As for the Rams, if they win and the Bears lose, they will clinch first round bye for the first time since 2003. So everything's on the line for them, but oh my God, these last 3 weeks or so, the Rams have been pretty bad. They lost 2 in a row now, and the offense is just terrible and inconsistent. Jared Goff cannot stop turning over the ball. It's really pathetic. Starting like his rookie year, for God's sake. And, of course, the Cardinals got destroyed by the Falcons. Nothing more to say about there. And, of course, I'm picking the Rams for this one, since they always beat the Cardinals when they visit them. In fact, I don't think they've lost to the Cardinals in Glendale since 2013, 2014 or something like that. It's been a really long time since they last lost to the Cardinals when they visit them, so I'm picking the Rams for this one. And then it's the Bears at the 49ers for the first time since 2014. Remember, the Bears were the first team to play on that new stadium, Levi Stadium, against the 49ers. As the Bears made the playoffs and won the NFC North for the first time since 2010. Congrats, I can finally see them in the playoffs once again with that incredible defense. And for the Bears, if they win and the Rams lose, they will have the number 2 seed. And if they win out, they could get it maybe, as long as the Rams lose one more game. And they still have the possibility to clinch the number 1 seed if they win out and the Rams and Saints both lose out. So everything's still up in the air for the Bears to be right up there as the top 3 teams in that division right now. As, of course, they beat the Packers in a defensive struggle last week. The 49ers, now they've won 2 in a row. And quite convincingly, too, beating the Broncos and then the Seahawks, too. That was quite impressive, finally beating the Seahawks for once. But I think the Bears will get this one. But don't underestimate the 49ers, Bears. Even though they've been struggling this year, they still have a lot of fight in them like they've had all season. And then we get to the big outer conference showdown with a lot on the line, as it's the Steelers at the Saints for the first time since 2010. For the Steelers, if they win and the Ravens lose, they will officially clinch the playoff spot and the AFC North for the 3rd year in a row. But meanwhile, for the Saints, all they have to do is win or hope the Rams and Bears lose, and they will clinch not only first round bye for the first time since 2009, but home field advantage for the first time since 2009 with one more game to go. Holy crap. They are easily my Super Bowl contender right now with like the best turnover to be done, best point differential in the league, very strong defense, elite offense as always. And of course, the Steelers, they beat the Patriots in a defensive struggle, and the Saints, even when they had to deal with an elite, probably one of the best defensive performances the Panthers have done in years, they still managed to pull it out because their defense was shut down the Panthers completely. Hell yeah, I'm picking the Saints for this one, but don't underestimate the Steelers either. They're going to be tough, so you got to play hard to beat them. So I think the Saints will get that win and clinch home field advantage, all ready to go for one more week left in the regular season. And then we get to our big Sunday night game, the outer conference showdown, as it's the Chiefs at the Seahawks for the first time since 2010, as this could be an offensive shootout. For the Chiefs, of course, actually for the Chiefs, if they win and the Chargers lose, they will clinch the AFC West for the first time since 2017, the 3rd year in a row. They will clinch first round bye for the first time since 2016, and if the Texans lose on top of that, they can still clinch home field advantage for the first time since 1997. So there's a lot on the line for them. Meanwhile, the Seahawks, if they win or the Eagles and Redskins lose, they will clinch a playoff spot for the first time since 2016 as well. As the Chiefs, oh boy, they're going full read again. They've had a 28-14 lead on the Chargers going into the 4th quarter, and they blew that and let the Chargers get that 2-point conversion. That was quite bold of the Chargers to do that, and it actually paid off because I wouldn't have done that. Meanwhile, the Seahawks, you blew it against the 49ers when you visit them. You never lose to the 49ers, and you can't even beat them when you have a playoff spot on the line. Oh boy, you're so happy. You better be thanking your lucky stars that the NFC this year is so weak in the wild card race. This game is going to go probably either 2 ways. It's either going to go into an offensive shootout, which I think it will, or maybe it could be a defensive slugfest with the Seahawks having the much better defense than the Chiefs actually doing what the Chiefs always do when they face a tough defense. Struggle, especially Patrick Mahomes. So either way, I think the Seahawks actually will get this victory. So we'll see what happens on Sunday night. And then we get to Monday night, the final Monday night game of the year for Christmas Eve, as it's the Broncos at the Raiders, as the Broncos are trying to avoid their second straight losing season. And this could possibly be the Raiders' final game at Oakland, because they might actually move out because they got sued recently by Oakland. So we'll see about that. Meanwhile, the Broncos, oh boy, so much for making a possible playoff push. You lost 2 in a row and now officially out of the playoffs as you lost at home to the Browns. Meanwhile, the Raiders, they actually put up a lot harder effort than I thought against the Bengals. Quite impressive performance, I must say. And of course, nothing's going right for the Broncos. The Raiders lately have been playing a little bit better. I think the Raiders will get this one. So those are my picks for week 16. I can't wait for Redskins and Titans and Ravens and Chargers. That's going to be sick, along with all these other games, because we might soon be starting to wrap up all the playoff teams, especially in the NFC. We might have one more. We might have the last wild card spot in the AFC still on the line. So we'll see what happens then, and of course tune in next Saturday for my week 17 picks, which I can't wait for that. And of course, when I do my when the season's over, the Monday after the regular season, I will do my playoff picks, and hopefully I'll get a whole bunch of views like I do every other year. So